Okay, let's get to it. Our poll question brought to you, as always, by the great folks over at Atlas Goods. Go to atlasgds.com. Use promo code CC15. That will get you 15% off your first order of pop rinds. These are the best fresh pork rinds straight from your microwave or air fryer. Our poll question today: which sniper do you believe will have a better NHL career? Danila Klimovich, Jonathan Lekkerimäki, and as always, I'm angry. Just two options, of course, with I'm angry being the third. 68% of voters saying Jonathan Lekkerimäki, 18% say Danila Klimovich, and 14% say they are angry. Chris, I voted Lekkerimäki as well. I think you got the higher ceiling, and someone astutely pointed out in the replies to that tweet, Lekkerimäki is 3 months older than Adam Fantilli. Still a lot of development ahead. I'm picking Lekkerimäki, and I know Klimovich took strides. And I know Klimovich deserves a ton of credit for putting up the goal total that he did at the age that he's at right now in the AHL. I think he deserves a ton of credit for that. I still think Lekkerimäki has the higher ceiling. I think he'll have the better NHL career.
Yeah, I think what I wanted to do with this poll question a little bit, it was like I'm putting together my prospect rankings, and Lekkerimäki should be above Danila Klimovich. But NHL career, like, size and speed is going to help you. I think Danila Klimovich, well, I know Danila Klimovich is bigger. I also think he's probably a better skater than Jonathan Lekkerimäki. He's not as honed in. Like, he's not the perfect example of what you'd want to be showing, but he's fast, man. Like, he has some pace to his game. So I just was floating this idea, like comparing Klimovich and Lekkerimäki. I also threw Ratu in there as well to kind of just think about. I look at these players and I think, like, Klimovich's size is really going to help him. And Lekkerimäki, with his size, he's going to need to be a top 6 player, right? I can't see him being a bottom 6 player and contributing at the NHL level consistently. I think you could make an argument and say that Klimovich has a pretty decent chance of just being, he can play on any line if he's able to continue to develop his game, like his two-way game, his defensive play, which took massive steps last year. So I don't know. I'm just putting together my rankings here, and I think there might be a couple of surprises for people in there. Listen, I've watched every second that Jonathan Lekkerimäki played last year. I've watched every second that Danila Klimovich played last year. And I really like what Danila Klimovich did more than what Jonathan Lekkerimäki did from watching them play. I know that there's more potential, probably more higher end potential with Lekkerimäki because he can bring a lot. But at the same time, like, if you look at Klimovich, if he's able to figure out that shot, his shot could be better than Lekkerimäki's. Like, he's got a much better one-timer, that's for sure. He doesn't have the kind of more accurate wrist shot right now, but he's got a harder shot. He's got a harder wrist shot, harder slap shot, more accurate slap shot. He's not as picky with his shots either. Like, Lekkerimäki needs the right angle, and he fires a lot of shots from distance. Like, Klimovich will go to the net. He's bigger, he's strong. Like, I think that there's an argument for Klimovich to be a better prospect than Lekkerimäki. And I know that's kind of wild to say, but, like, as I'm putting together my rankings here and just thinking back to everything that happened this past season, I know the playoffs were great for Lekkerimäki. I know that he had a struggle to the start of his season, but Danila Klimovich took huge steps in not just the points, but just how he played defensively. Like, I really think he's put himself in the conversation to be a top 3 prospect as much as Jonathan Lekkerimäki has.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing I tried to quantify at the start was, how do you measure what Klimovich was able to do in the AHL compared to what Lekkerimäki was able to do over in Sweden?
Not just in Sweden, in the Allsvenskan, the second tier, where some of those teams are getting knocked down to the third tier, which I've heard is comparable to beer league, right? Like, the AHL is a tough league. The AHL is one of the top 3 leagues in the world. Allsvenskan's cracking the top 10, right? Like, that's a very different set, like, where they're playing and producing and putting up numbers. Klimovich had a lot more points in the AHL this season than we saw from Lekkerimäki. So, we'll see what happens here moving forward.